Welcome back to your short and sweet InDesign recap. We're on our third video now, and we previously looked at how you can work with images and place them into the document as well as resize them. Now it's time to add some text. So when we bring text into our InDesign document, just like with images, there are a few ways that you can do it. You can do a simple copy and paste. You might have a Word document open. You just select the text from Word, copy, and then bring it into a text frame in InDesign and paste it. Or you can place the Word document directly into InDesign. So we'll jump in now and take a look at those two methods. All right, so we're back into our InDesign document here, and now it's time to save this. I'll come up to the File menu, and then I'll just come down to Save or Save As, and from there I can navigate to where I can save it. I'm just going to save it into this folder here. I'll just call this one A4 brochure, and down the bottom here where I've got my format options, I can choose to either save it as a standard InDesign document, a template file, or an IDML. Now for the most part you'll save things just as a standard InDesign document, an INDD file format. With the template file, that's great if you've added some assets and then you want to use that document as a starting point for future documents. It's essentially a locked file that will not be written over because it's locked. When you open it, it'll just make a duplicate of the file. And then you've got the IDML, which is when you're sending InDesign files to somebody else who might be using an older version of InDesign, it'll save it as an IDML and they'll be able to access the IDML. But I'll just leave it saved as the InDesign CC 2018 document. So I'll hit save on there, and we're ready to start adding some text. All right, so with dropping the text in, I'm going to use the first method of just copy and paste. So to begin with, I'll draw a text frame. We've got to use our type tool over here on the toolbar in order to access the text frames. And so when I have that active, I can then come across and either on the page or even off here on the pasteboard, which is where I will begin, I'll just drag out a frame onto the page. Great, so the cursor is now flashing in that frame, and we can see we have all of our formatting options up here in the control panel. On the left-hand side, we have the formatting options that relate to our character formatting, and then on the right-hand side, we have the formatting area that relates to more paragraph formatting. So things like doing bullet points, number lists, indenting your paragraphs or putting space between them. And you can toggle between the two of these just by clicking on these paragraph formatting or character formatting controls, so that when I click on the paragraph, it moves the paragraph settings to the left. And when I click on the character formatting controls, it moves them to the left. That's handy when you are working on smaller screens and you may only be seeing half of the settings and you need to access the full settings. For example, with the paragraph formatting, I want to move them to the left to see them all, or to highlight the character formatting options, I'll select that one so I can see all of those. I want a large screen at the moment so we can pretty much see all of the available options in both paragraph and character settings. So now that I've got the text frame there with the cursor flashing, I'll just jump across to my Word document. Here it is, and I'm just going to select all of that, and I'll do my Command C or Control C on PC to copy. So now that I've come across to InDesign, I'm ready to paste the text into this frame. The cursor is still flashing there, so I'll just do my Command V or Control V on PC to paste that in. So that's one method of copying and pasting across from an open document, but you can also import Word documents directly to InDesign. So we'll do that method next. I'll just delete this frame by using my selection tool here and then just hit delete there on the keyboard to remove it. And I'll bring in a Word document directly into the InDesign document. So coming up to the File menu, I can come down to Place, or you can use my shortcut Control D to place, just like you would with an image. Opens up the Place window, and then I just navigate to where I've got a Word document. Here we do, and I'll just select it from here and then come down and hit Open. One thing you'll notice when you do this, you've also got the option to show your import options. If you turn that one on, it will then give you the option to either bring in the formatting that was used in Word or strip it out if you just want raw text coming through. It really depends on how you want to work with your text. You might want to start with a clean slate and just not bring in any formatting across. And it will remember the last setting you've used. So when I bring this in, if I click on open, and I now get a little preview of the text sitting inside my cursor, and just like before, I'll come out here to the paste board and just click and drag to create a frame, and then that text drops in. So we can see here it does have the same formatting that was used in the Word document. So the last setting that must have been used when text was last brought into InDesign must have had the formatting option turned on. Alright, so now we're just going to break this text down into some smaller text frames, and still using the type tool here, I'm just going to select the main heading. I'll select that and I'll use my shortcut, Command X or Control X to cut, and I'll just draw a text frame in the top left corner to put the text into. And then I'll just do my Command V or Control V to paste it in. I'll jump down now to the main body text here, and I'll select that by clicking and dragging across, and do my Command or Control X to cut that out, and that text will sit down here in front of the chair. So I'll just click and drag out to draw a frame for that, and then Control Command V to paste that in. And then just this last block of text here, select that, Command X, and then come down here and create a text frame by clicking and dragging, and then just Command V that text into the frame. Great, so I'm ready to start formatting. Now often when I'm formatting text, I like to show the hidden or the invisible characters so I can see where there are tabs and returns and that kind of thing. So I'll come up to the type menu, and from there I'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, the last option there, show hidden characters, and that way we can see where there are returns and spaces. Also keep an eye out for these little hashes. The hash means that's the end of the text, so there's no more text to flow on afterwards. In fact, I'll just put my cursor in where that hash is there and hit delete just to get the hash nice and flush against the last word there. So with that text selected, I'll come up to my control panel to choose my font from the drop down here, and I'm going to use Adobe. So there it is there. I'll just select that, and then with the weight underneath here, I'll click on that drop down and I'll use black, 95 black. Great, and then to increase the point size, I can use the arrows here with the point size heading up, or I could also click on this drop down and jump to some of the preset sizes that we've got from there, or I can obviously just come in here and type it in. I'll put in 50 points for the point size, and then with the leading, which is the spacing between the lines there, I'm going to reduce that down. It's on automatic at the moment. We can see that it's in automatic because it's got the little brackets there around 60 points. But I'm going to change that. I'll bring it down to 50 just to bring those lines a little bit closer together. Okay, so that's part of the formatting done for the heading there, and then I'll jump down to the body text and clicking inside that frame, and then I'll just Command or Control A to select all of that and come back up here, and I'm going to use Adobe again. So it should now be listed as one of my recently used fonts up the top here. There it is, Adobe, and I'll leave this at 35 light. That's pretty good. And then the point size, I'm just going to bring that down a couple of points. I'll bring it down to 9 points in size. Now this time I actually want to add a little bit of extra leading or spacing between the lines here. So I'm just going to bump that leading up to say 16 points. There we go, bit of extra space between those lines. Okay, and looking at this text, we can see that we've got a red underline there telling me that there's a potential spelling error. So I can just right click on that and then choose my options from the spelling corrections. All right, so I'll jump down to the next block of text, click in there, do my Command A to select all, or Control A, and then, going to use the same font again. So just scrolling up to Adobe up the top here. I'll leave it at 35 light again, but it'll be slightly smaller this time. So I'll just take it down to 7 points in size, and I'll leave the leading on automatic mode. Excellent, so we've now formatted most of the text. We do need to change the color of the text. So we'll be looking at creating a custom color using our swatches panel in the next episode, as well as how we can draw geometric shapes to use in the background for this particular layout. Excellent, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.